So the sun's just coming up. Luckily the ice cream shop's open. It's about -2 here at the moment, so at least it'll keep your ice cream cool as you're walking along. Anyway, I'm heading through to Ventnor right now. Just had a decent night's sleep, and hopefully today it will be as uneventful as yesterday, but we'll see. It is pretty cold this morning, but it's supposed to be quite a nice day today, so there's no rain due, so that's the best thing. I think it's going to get up to about a whopping 8 degrees this morning. Anyway, my feet are starting to feel it a bit now. Got a couple of blisters, but get some Compeed in your bag and it'll be fine. Anyway, onwards to Ventnor. So I've put the hood up because it's pretty cold this morning. Bit of ice still about. Now, you can obviously do this route clockwise or anti-clockwise. There's a reason why I'm doing it clockwise. The views are incredible going over this way, especially today, which hopefully we'll see later if the weather's clear. You've got some much better views that are in front of you than are behind you. So I would recommend doing it clockwise rather than anti-clockwise. So one benefit of getting up this early is you get an absolutely fantastic sunrise behind me. Anyway, we're heading along Shanklin seafront. A few places you might want to stop for a drink along here. Nothing open this time in the morning. I'm just a little bit confused because I thought the path went above the lift up the top there. I've just checked on the map that I'm following and no, it does say it's going along. I know you can get up further, so we'll go and have a look down there. But yeah, a little bit of confusion there. But I'm sure we'll be fine going back up. I was right to come along the front, past the arcade back there. You can see the sign just in front of me now. So don't follow the red squirrel trail. Although, saying that, it's quite a good alternative. If you want to be above everything, you can just walk up there, along this bit. But no, we're going to head along the proper coastal path. So another place you might want to stop off is Shanklin Chine. So I think it's one of the oldest tourist attractions on the Isle of Wight. It's very pretty in there, so you can go through there and you can then even come up in town up here, so that'll bring you back onto the route. I'm not sure how much it is, but it's just here. So first closure today, first diversion, but there aren't any signs telling me where to go, so I'm assuming it's just up the hill here, but we'll have to wait and see because I can see some more bollards up there. I do know we can go back around and go up into town though, so if we have to do that, we'll do that. So I'm going to assume that this is the way to go. So we're right. Yeah, so looking at it, there's a bit just back here, which I'm guessing was that original footpath, so pretty sure we're on the right route again. This is Shanklin Old Village. Good place to stop off. There's a couple of pubs around here. If you just go a little bit further back there, there's the main town as well. Again, this might be a good place if you want to break the journey up. Might be a good place to stay the night. So we're expecting the next part of the journey to be the most difficult to navigate. We're heading from Shanklin to Ventnor, and there's been a little bit of a landslip recently. Well, quite a big landslip recently. So I think a lot of the route has been rerouted. So we'll find out when we get a bit further along. So, bit of a problem. Completely closed. No diversion. I think what I'm going to do is head up onto the main road into Ventnor and do that way. It's a bit annoying though because there's nothing to say where you'd go, and I don't know if that's like a last minute sort of closure there, but not great. Let's head back where we were. So unfortunately I think by going this way I think we're going to miss out going through Bonchurch, but hey, at least we know we're going to get through going this way. As I said, I've had to come up on the road from Shanklin towards Ventnor. I'm heading down Bonchurch Shoot now. I'm hoping I can get back onto the route down here. Obviously this isn't a normal diversion. I don't know, maybe I've gone somewhere wrong back there. Today it looked like that was closed, and it looked like it had been closed quite recently, so I had to come up on the road. Not very interesting, quite busy, but I'm here now in Bonchurch, so let's check it out. So we are back on track. I've just found the coastal path diversion sign. It's the first one I've seen today, which is a bit odd because, where is it? There it is. First one I've seen today, so I don't know where we went wrong. But yeah, back en route now. I'm hoping we're going to get straight onto the beach down here and straight along to Ventnor. But let's have a look. So I'm just coming down past East Dean. I think I stayed here as a small child, as a school trip, but memory is a bit shaky these days. But you know what your memory's like when you get a bit older. But yeah, I think they're all ready for Christmas. Don't think the bear's having too much fun there. So I've made it down onto the coast again. We're back on the coastal path. I'm hoping that that's going to be the biggest sort of problem we're going to have today. I think most of it on the way back through, bar a few bits on the sort of West Wight area, I think most of it's still there. But we might have to do a little bit of road walking later. But yeah, we've made it down here. Anyway, there's some really nice houses right down here. How do you fancy living in one of these? Right, next stop Ventnor. Hopefully we could have a little stop and have a bit of a drink and maybe something to eat on the way. It's a fair old walk, the Isle of Wight coastal path, but I think this one might take a little bit longer. So I'm not sure how accurate this map is, but it looks like we should be able to go along most of this until at least St Lawrence before we have to come up. So just stopped off in Ventnor, had a quick bite to eat, and now heading on out further on the coastal path. It's a good place to stop off in Ventnor. There's plenty of stuff like down here on the front. Got the Spyglass Inn up this end. Got a couple of cafes back behind me. Another good stop though if you want to sleep overnight. There's plenty to explore up in town. I did another video on it like a little while ago. There's enough to keep you going for an evening, and there's some really good restaurants up there in town as well, so check Ventnor out. Morning! Come on, you can do it! So, the coastal path over this side has been absolutely spectacular. So the coastal route along this part of the island is far better than the rest of it that we've done the last couple of days. It's just endless sea to our left. Just stretches on for miles and miles. There's hardly anyone about. It's a little bit icy this morning. But once the sun's come up, it's absolutely stunning here. This is why you do this sort of walk. So you'll notice along here, there's, hello, morning. So you'll notice along this stretch, there's a lot of benches dedicated to people. There's one back there that says, a lady called Linda adored this view. She ain't wrong, because it's a hell of a view. Absolutely stunning along here this morning. So it's said that Ventnor has got its own little microclimate. It's not wrong, because I've just come along, what, 100, 200 yards. It's absolutely boiling along here. It's like a completely different place that we've just entered. So I'm just going to have to take my jacket off. I've just seen the route down and it looks amazing. So I know I keep banging on about it, but the views along this part of the route are absolutely spectacular. You've got cliffs to your right and you've got sea to your left. And it's just absolutely stunning. Even more benches dedicated to people along this route. I think they're going to run out of space along here eventually. It's just going to be full of benches. So that's Ventnor back there in the distance now, just having a little rest on a bench. It's got a lot colder coming along this part now. As I said, Ventnor seems to have that little microclimate. And it was so warm back there and now it's so cold. There's actually ice still on the floor around here, so just go easy if you're doing it in the winter. By some locals to take a slightly different route. I've tried to go down on what is signposted as the coastal path. However, it takes you right down to the beach and there's absolutely no way you're getting down there. And they said that if I go along the coastal path here on the top, I won't be able to get through. So I'm going up and along. So yeah, I think if you're coming the opposite way to I'm going, you might actually have been rerouted there, but if you're coming from Ventnor up here, up to St Lawrence, there aren't any diversion signs, which isn't so great, so look out for that. But we're just going to head up on the road for a bit and hopefully end up near Blackgang sometime soon. So I nearly took a bit of a wrong route there. Just be aware that you want to keep going up the hill here. It is signposted, but it's stuck behind a tree, so you might miss it, which is what I did. Anyway, we're going to carry on up. So I just found another little place to stop off. Looks like you can get some drinks and whatever here. St Lawrence Post Office, just on the route as we come up the hill. So I've made it through Knighton now. The only problems I really had was the ground was so solid. It's been, what, -2 or 3 last night? And it's still not thawed out because it's completely in the shade along there. So it's quite hard on your feet, but if it's not frosty, you're not going to have any problems. So a little Isle of Wight fact. The band Wet Leg are from Ventnor. And one of their videos was actually filmed just down here at St Catherine's Lighthouse. So as I said, there is a reason I'm doing this route clockwise. And this is the reason. These views. This would all be behind you if you were going the opposite direction. And you wouldn't get to see much of the Needles, which is over there. So just check out these views. This is why we're doing this walk in this direction. I challenge you to find a better view in the UK than from here, because it's absolutely stunning. So up in the distance is the Needles and the lighthouse at the bottom. It's actually the rocks that are the Needles, not the lighthouse. Anyway, I don't know if we're going to make it down there while it's still light. So what I might do is, if we don't make it down there when it's still light, I'm going to head back up there tomorrow and have a little look around. Because although we can probably walk the route today, I want to really show you the views from up there, because they're some of the best anywhere in the world. So down there, if you look over the edge, you'll see a place called Blackgang Chine. It's one of the oldest theme parks in the country. I think it was opened in the 1840s some point. Still open to this day. A lot of it has fallen into the sea in the past, but you'll find all sorts down there. You'll find dinosaurs, cowboys, all sorts of stuff. Worth checking out, really good for kids. Get yourself down to Blackgang Chine. So until we get along to Compton Bay, apart from the amazing views, there's not a huge amount to talk about. The last thing I'm going to talk about before we go along there though is the White Mouse Inn. It's your last chance to stop and grab something to eat before you go along the trail. There's not a lot else going. I think you've got the Isle of Wight Pearl, which you may be able to stop at and get some food, which is just before Compton. But apart from that, that's it. You're on your own out there. So I'm going to shut up and just check out these amazing views. So I pretty much made it to Compton Bay in the light, but we've lost light now. What I want to do is I want to come back and show you the rest of this route in the light, because there's some really good things I'd like to be able to see in the sunshine. So we'll start this again tomorrow. We'll go back down to Freshwater Bay and we'll continue from there. So we've made it as far as Freshwater Bay. This is probably your first proper stop off since the White Mouse back near Blackgang Chine. Not too much of the journey to go now. We've got to head up onto the Tennyson Trail and some of the best views that we'll have on this entire trip. If you're doing this trip in the summer, you'll find that down here at the lifeboat station, there's normally a pizza van and there's also a bar bus. So if you want to stop off and have a bite to eat and something to drink, this is a really good place to do it. There's also a hotel down here, and there's a lot of Airbnbs that will be in the local area as well. So this is what it's all about. Just check out these views. This is worth the walk itself. So behind me is probably the most iconic site on the Isle of Wight, that being the Needles. So made it as far as Totland Bay, almost nearly at the end of the route now. What I thought I'd do just quickly is go through what you might be wanting to bring with you. The most important thing is probably what you're going to want to wear on your feet. I'd recommend a hiking trainer or a hiking boot. I wouldn't recommend just using normal trainers because there is some quite tough terrain on the route. If you're coming in the summer, shorts are probably going to be fine. But if you're coming in the winter, you might want to have some more substantial hiking trousers. I've got quite a decent hiking rucksack, but you don't need anything quite as substantial as this. But you do want to have something big enough to put your water in, a waterproof jacket, and some supplies to put in your bag to keep you sustained on the route. So as far as my jacket goes, I've got a waterproof shell, but I've also got a lightweight puffer jacket that I've also got in my bag for when it gets particularly cold. You'll also probably want a nice pair of gloves as well, because some of these parts of the route can get quite exposed and quite cold, especially this time of year. And apart from those few things, there's not much else you'll need. So as the sun sets behind us, the sun also sets on our trip around the Isle of Wight coastal path. It's been 75 miles of absolutely gorgeous views. If you haven't already, give this a like. And if you want to subscribe to the channel too, that'll be absolutely fantastic. And if you've got any questions about this route, drop a comment underneath and I'll try and answer your questions the best I can. Anyway, I'll see you next time.